All right, so here's the thing. What I want to ask you about, Wayne Fraizer. Here you are, an African-American guy, and Iowa is a state that has it has some African-Americans out there. It used to be a great blues station out of Waterloo in the old days, and you know, but basically it's a pretty white state. And I have a great fondness for Iowa. It's sort of my ancestral homeland out there in the southwest corner. Coyne, Iowa is where some of my relatives lived. But when you you cross the Mississippi River, and you were going to Dubuque mainly and counties around up and along the river. What's it like when Chicagoans, and in general and particular, I mean, certainly Democrats or progressives in this case, out of the 49th Ward, go off to Iowa and they knock on doors in these little towns, which are pretty economically in a rough place right now. What happens when you go to a door?
Well, when I first went, surprisingly, I was kind of leery on how people would accept me. And I was in this little town, in this little county called Delaware, Iowa. It was about 400, the population is around 400, Mike. And there's no one there that looked like me. So I started at one end of the town knocking on doors, and people was pretty friendly. So by the time I got to the middle of the town, the whole town knew that I was in town knocking on doors for Barrack Obama. So as I got into the middle of the town, people started opening their doors saying, "Hi, welcome, thank you. You here from the Barrack Obama campaign. Come on in, have some coffee, have some tea, meet my cat." You know, so they was very friendly and very friendly. Just let me share this one story with you. I knocked on this one door, and this guy in his overalls with his suspenders on, you know, stomach hanging over, you know, a good farmer guy. He had the beard and the long hair. And I knocked on his door. He opened the door. And as soon as he opened the door, it was this big Confederate flag hanging behind his door. I was like, oh my God, what I got myself into? I said, well, I'm here from the Barrack Obama campaign. He said, by God, Barrack Obama, that's my guy. I'm voting for him. Give me your literature. Give me all the stuff that you have. I will be voting for Barrack Obama. And I said, this guy really have a great chance to be the next president of the United States to change this whole world around.
Have the experiences of most folks out there been good? I mean, I've talked to one person and they said it was pretty rough in the sense that people don't have a lot of money in some of these places, and they're not real cheerful about their situation. What's been the general response?
Well, yes, that's true. People are hurting all over, and especially in Iowa. And sometimes people just look in the inner cities to see where people is hurting. But it's not just in the inner cities where people is hurting at. It's in the mainland, quote, as they say. That's real, that's hurting, and they looking for a change. They looking for someone to help boost the American dream to them, and they really see this boost in Barrack Obama. So I really encourage people to come and join us every weekend at the 49th Ward Democrat Party to go to Iowa to help us spread Barrack Obama's message.
You know, my co-host and business partner, Katie Hogan, is in Ohio. And she's told me a number of stories, one of which was yesterday, or a couple days ago, she ran into a real hard guy who was a little gnarly when he came to the door, and he said, well, tell me two things. And the first one was, have you ever met the guy? And when she said, yeah, I've met him, of course I've met him. I met him at the Heartland Cafe. When he says, okay, if you met him and you say he's okay with me.
Yeah.
And I just have a feeling that there is, you know, the big question is whether a lot of white Americans will actually vote for Barrack Obama. And you know, I like to think that this country is really ready to rise above the traditional racism we've had, and to look forward to, you know, it's an opportunity for us to make a step forward and look better in the world, and certainly bring people together rather than keep people divided.
Yeah. Well, you know this Bradley effect that we keep hearing about. That
The Bradley effect, yeah.
The Bradley effect, yeah. And that's just that most white people won't vote for an African-American candidate, or they won't tell, when they being polled, they won't tell the truth. But I don't think that's the case in this incident.
I don't either.
I think people is really fired up and ready to go and understand that this country needs change and that they see change in Barrack Obama. And I just don't think that's true.
Wayne Fraizer, I know today is the 49th Ward cleanup, and you've got other duties over there at the Alderman's office. If anyone wants to participate in the cleanup and get a little more information about these trips to Iowa, where would they report this morning?
They could report at Alderman Joe Moore's office located at 7356 North Greenview. Come and grab a broom and a shovel and a rake. Let's go out and beautify the community. And I also like to encourage people to go early vote, so that could free you up to come help us on Election Day to help GOTV get out to vote for Barack Obama or go to Iowa with us.
Let's have a big round of applause for Wayne Fraizer. All right, you're listening to Live from the Heartland.